everyone, and welcome to Build Your Best Life. I believe it is better to train early rather than to fix later. When I say I'm super excited, I am over the top excited. This year's third annual virtual Mothers with Sons seminar is just totally different. We got mothers and we have the sons on with them. So it was amazing last night. We had Anita J. Cummings from Thompson, Georgia, and her son, Ticarius Cummings from Seattle, Washington. And when I say they slayed, they slayed. It was amazing as they talked about discipline. And so we know we're going to have a fantastic time tonight. So get ready, get ready, get ready. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to have as our host for tonight Miss Anita J. Cummings from Thompson, Georgia. She is back with us. Hi, Miss Anita. How are you?
Hello, Coach Smith. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so glad to have you back here today.
Well, I am extremely excited about this second day of Mothers with Their Sons seminar. Congratulations on 3 years.
Thank you so much.
I want to tell you and encourage you to make sure that you keep up the good work. You're making a difference. So keep pressing forward.
Thanks.
And I am extremely excited about tonight. Build your best life. And as Coach Smith stated earlier, it's better to train early rather than to fix later. This is her third year with Mother with Sons seminar, and we are having deep conversations between mothers and sons. So if you missed last night, we encourage you to go back and look at last night. And if you are joining us tonight, we say welcome to this seminar. I read something the other day that I thought was very, very interesting. As a mother of a son, I understand the importance of having a strong relationship with my son. But this is what I read, and I want to share it with you. It stated that for generations, mothers have gotten the same old message when it comes to mothers raising their son. Talked about beware of keeping him too close. A mom who nurtures a deep emotional bond with her boy says will prevent him from growing up to be a strong, independent man. By refusing to cut the apron string, this article stated that she just might be creating a wimpy, dependent, maladjusted mama's boy. And the only thing that's wrong with that statement that I just said, that is not true. It does the opposite when mothers have strong bonds with their sons. So to all the mothers out there, happy early Mother's Day. And if you are a mother raising a son, kudos to you. Let's band together and make sure that we raise our boys up to be the best men that they can possibly be. So welcome to Tuesday night, and we are here to have a great time. We're going to be blessed with our prayer by Pastor Dinkens. We're going to have our spoken word following that by Courtney Bell. And then we want you to pay very close attention to the ad that will follow our spoken word. Good evening, Reverend Dinkens.
Good evening. How are you?
I am great, and welcome to Build Your Best Life with Deborah Smith.
It is my honor to be here.
Thank you so much, sir, for blessing us with prayer.
Let us go before God in prayer. God, we're so grateful this evening. What a joy it is to have life. The fact that you have graced us in this way speaks of your splendor, speaks of your majesty, speaks of how amazing you truly are. And so for this, we say thank you. We refuse to take life for granted. There's so many persons whose lives have been turned upside down in a moment's notice, and yet you continue to pour out mercy and grace upon us in abundance. And so, God, today we come not only to thank you for life, but we want to thank you for Deborah Smith and Build Your Best Life. We want to thank you for these 3 years that she has done this particular work. Thank you so much, God, for the impact. Thank you so much, God, for the way that she's making a mark that will not be erased. Now, God, as we come to this evening, I pray for the participants this evening. I know them intimately. And I'm so grateful for my wife and my son. And I'm asking you, oh God, that you will fill their mouths with wisdom, that you would give them understanding, that you would give them clarity of communication, that this time together will be a memorable one. But then, God, would you touch those of us who will be listening in, and you cause us to hear, oh God, cause us not to question to the point to where we've missed the word that has been spoken. And finally, God, would you transform lives through this conversation today? To you be the glory, to you be the praise, to you be the honor, in Jesus' name. And everybody who agreed said, amen.
Hello, my name is Courtney Bell Jr. and I am from Dallas, Texas. And I am representing the Garland NAACP Texas branch. And I will now present to you my poetry performance entitled Identity. Man, it's crazy. The way this whole world maneuvers is so crazy. Every single day people feel so isolated, simply because they are different. In fact, I would describe myself as an anomaly. Something or someone who deviates from what is normal or expected. And my faith has been affected, but now I have the antidote, and it is called identity. Man, the devil sure is mad at me, and I'm going to embrace that, because while this world is wide and broad, I'm on that narrow path. Yes, I'm black. Yes, I'm straight. Yes, I'm a man. I am who I say I am, and I am who God says I am. So I stop the dang stereotypes. Every single day I get asked the same question. Are you an athlete? Is it because of my race and height? Then I would say no. No, do not limit me to those sort of things. And that's no shade to the athletes doing their thing. I just really want to say that we can win more of the games. Yes, because we can go further. Yes, we can be scholars. You can be an immaculate author. And when I have children, I will be a present father. Because I refuse to be a stereotype. I'm just so tired of the world telling me what to do. And I know the women feel me too. Because there's nothing a man does that you can't do too. We just have to let our light shine and defeat stereotypes. Because the world's view of us black people is what's bringing us down. We out here losing our identity, taking criticism from clowns. That was for the students. Specifically teenagers like me. We are always thinking and thinking and thinking about what others think about us. And it makes us sad, depressed, and it fills us with insecurities. And believe me, I try to be myself, but the world is always telling me something else. I'm confused with so many views, I don't know which one to choose. So I feel as if I'm on an island when I'm in a crowded room. This is why we need to shine the light on the importance of knowing who you are. Because once you do that, your life will indefinitely change. When you know your identity, you can completely be yourself. Oftentimes, people can't truly be themselves due to many problems, but ultimately, it comes down to your identity. This is indeed the truth. Take a look at your fingerprint. Now take a look at your neighbor's fingerprint. You will find that they are different. This goes for identity too. It keeps us unique and it distinguishes us from everyone else in this world. God created us differently for a reason, so embrace it. Identity will strengthen your character. God knew us and formed us before we were born and set us apart. Jeremiah 1:5. And black people and all people are fearfully and wonderfully made, declares the Lord. So people, be proud of who you are and start building your identity. And as for me, I am who I say I am, and I am who God says I am. Know you, do you, and that's your true identity. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Ferguson. As a mother of 3 sons, it is important to have deep, meaningful conversations with them, as uneasy or uncomfortable as it may be. It is important to lead and guide these young men in the right direction of life. This can be done through communication and applying essential biblical principles. Coach Deborah is speaking to our young men about this and teaching them to build their best life. Follow Build Your Best Life with Deborah Smith on all social media platforms, as well as www.buildyourbestlife.org. www.buildyourbestlife.org. Thank you.
As a mother with a son, I know the importance of having those deep, meaningful conversations with him. It will make a difference in his relationship with whoever his prospective partner is. So have those meaningful conversations. Join Coach Deborah Smith and the Build Your Best Life Now platform as we change the way we raise our sons.
Hello, I'm Carol Crockett. Listen, sons are such a wonderful gift from God. As a mother who has raised a son, I love the insight Coach Deborah Smith and her guests bring on her Build Your Best Life platform. The basic principles along with the tidbits in her book, Build Your Best Life, equips, empowers, and motivates. These deep conversations with mothers and sons are an added blessing. I love and appreciate Coach Deborah's passion for helping others build their best lives.
Whoa, thank you so very much, Pastor Dinkens, for that wonderful prayer. You said so many powerful things, and especially we hope this time together will encourage, uplift someone to have some type of transformation in your life. We don't come on thinking that you're not already doing things well. We just want to encourage you to continue on the right path and to continue to do things well. And all the way from Dallas, Texas, Corey, you bless my soul, bless my spirit. And I am sure that everyone who is listening feels the same way. You recited that with so much energy and so much emotion. Identity. I am who God says that I am. And what I like about the entire thing, even though I enjoyed all of it, sometimes we do get stereotyped by others, thinking that we can only be great athletes. But in your poem, you stated, in your spoken word, you stated that we can be scholars. And we most certainly can be scholars. And you went even further to state that we can be present fathers, that when you become a father, you will be a present father. And that's speaking things into existence. So thank you so much for sharing your gift, your talents with us. And indeed, we wish you the very, very best on your journey as a young, Black, proud African male making a difference in this world. Now, indeed, sons are very, very special, and they are a gift from God. And we don't take that lightly. Tonight, I am so, so very excited. We've already had the father part of this trio with us this evening. So indeed, it's a family affair tonight. Our theme is deep conversation, and our topic for tonight is going to be decisions. All of us have to make decisions, and so many times we make decisions without even thinking about it. Like what you're going to eat for breakfast, maybe what you're going to eat for lunch, what you're going to wear to school, maybe what you're going to, where you're going to go for the weekend. Some decisions are very easy to make, but some decisions we definitely need to make sure that we put thought, time, prayer, and energy into those. So get your paper, get your pens ready. Make sure you take some good notes, because I am sure that this mother and son duo is going to give us some great insight on how to make healthier, better decisions so that we can build our best life. I would like to welcome to Build Your Best Life none other than Miss Denise and her son, Henry Dinkens. Y'all come on and give us something about decision. Hey, Miss Denise. Hey, Henry.
Hey,
Hello. I
I
was
hope
trying to
y'all are
find my
doing.
microphone.
Yeah, you're off mute now. Henry, I believe in affirmations.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
picked two for you for tonight
Okay.
and for other listeners too, but these two are just for you. And I have my little affirmation cards, and it states, "Today I am loved." I know you're loved by your parents, but I want you to know, even though we're just meeting, you are definitely loved.
Thank
It
you.
states, "Today I will know in my heart that I deserve love and respect." So as you
Mm.
go on your journey of maturing into a well-rounded, respected African male king, you know that you are loved not just by your parents, by those of us who believe in the village. So we are part of your village. And the second one that I picked for you, Henry, it says, "Today I am in charge."
Mm.
Are in charge. Today I am in control of how I feel. Don't ever let anybody choose your feelings for you. You're in charge. You're in control of your feelings. Nobody can make me feel any other way than happy. So I wish you a happy life as you grow up and as you enjoy being who God created you to be. I have my pen, I have my paper, and I'm ready for some tips. So, what do y'all have for our audience, Miss Denise and Henry?
All right. Wow. That was such a beautiful blessing, Henry. I love when people give you kudos, just like your mama do all the time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're going to introduce each other, and I want to introduce you to Henry John Lee Dinkens. He is a wonderful child, a sweet man with many, 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 many talents. Henry just brought so much joy to our life as we saw him win competition as an artist. He's an artist. He is currently at Denver, at Rocky Mountain College of Arts and Design. And but that accomplishment came with a lot of work that he did from high school, from middle school. It started when he was age 7. He's been doodling ever since and has been doing a phenomenal job. So he has gold medals from AXO, national, local, in the drawing competition, silver medals, bronze, and even from state, he went to base. Wow, just his gift is a blessing, and he does a variety of drawing. It's not just one style. He challenges himself over and over for doing different things. And hopefully we can announce what that website is where people can check that out later. He's actually been on Build Your Best Life because of these accomplishments. He loves sports. He can play basketball. I think he did a little bit of running track. I remember that. Actually, I was looking at a video, Henry, of you running track in middle school, and I was like, "Oh, look at my baby." Uh, he is just a great guy that does a lot of variety of things. But what I like most about Henry, he's humble. He loves people. He can meet a friend. He can make a turtle his friend. I mean, that's just how friendly he is. And so I am just so grateful to God to introduce to the world my baby, Henry John Lee Dinkins.
Thank you, mom. I appreciate that. I'd like to introduce my mom as well. She really have been supportive of me ever since I was little, and she's just a hard worker. Always keeping a smile on her face and encouraging me. Soon as I got in my art, and she realized how dedicated and how I loved it, she just took off and like helped me through it all. And like I call her my manager, you know, because when I need something, I can talk to her. And I just love her drive for what she do. She has a bachelor degree in sociology from Jarvis Christian College, master degree in counseling, and soon will have a PhD in organizational leadership. And she's a life coach, and I've seen her like day in, day out, just work hard. Like I like seeing her go through like some hard times, like far as like
her going through two different type of cancers. That was thyroid and breast cancer. And I just know that she's real like strong minded and caring and loving to everybody. And I looked up to that my whole life, and hoping I can be like that one day. You know, I got a couple things from her. She likes to travel, dance, and sing, and it's just it really encouraged me to know that I can tap into anything that I want to put my mind to, and to know that there's more in life than just the time and the hard times that may be in the moment, you know. And yeah, that's my mom, and I'm proud to be a son and to keep like making a name for my family and just keeping good energy.
Thank you, son. So when Coach Smith approached me about this platform, I was so excited. I was like, wow, to be able to have a deep conversation or just kind of let people know what are some of the things that we do about how do we make decisions. So we're going to just let everybody kind of glean into our little conversations that we have. Let me give a little background to it. We actually have two children. I have a daughter and my son. And my husband and I decided early on that we were going to really be instrumental in teaching our kids specific things about life. And decision making was that big thing. And so whenever they turned 11, there were no more birthday parties. That was the tradition. You got a birthday party all the way up to age 10. But from age 11 to 15, you would have a date with your parents. So my daughter had a date with her dad, and it was sit down conversations over dinner. And then Henry and I had dates from the time he was 11 until he was 15. And each year the conversation got deeper and deeper because we wanted to make sure that their maturity was in check and was being nurtured, and they were being groomed and trained by the word of God and just as decent human beings. So, Henry, we're gonna just have one of our date nights, okay? So we just gonna, talk about some things, and so I'm gonna just preface it with some questions as we just have our sit down talk. So, just one of the questions is, what's your process for making a decision? So, Henry, how do you know when you need to make a decision?
At first, just it starts off with like my gut feeling and just my thought process. Um, and when I get like that, I usually try to write it out.
Mm-hmm.
And because sometimes, in our minds, it can get to rolling and it can be hard to
Mm-hmm.
understand and make a choice based off of what your thoughts are. And by reflecting with my thoughts on paper, I can always come back to it and just see what I can do and move around it. So that's what like I would start off with. And then I also of course like talk to like my mom or like my dad, like any of my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and just make a choice, and
Mm-hmm.
seek out like what comes with the consequences, because that's what like my mom, my dad, they taught me my whole life. And you just gotta weigh the consequences. Like many times my dad says like when I had to like make a choice, he'd be like, it's just basically like which one, when you make a choice, which one are you willing to live with? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
if you're constantly working out, you get pain from working out. But if you're not working out, and you're not liking the way you feel or like the way you look, that's also pain that come with it as well.
Mm.
And so it's just a choice. Which pain are you willing to live with and look back on? So that's what I was saying.
Wow, that's awesome, son. And I would agree with you wholeheartedly on that reflecting part. Um, you can't make decisions real quick for something. Earlier, I remember hearing Miss Cummings, our host, say that it's easy to make quick decisions like what you're going to eat and different things, but when you have to process something and think about it, you need to write it down, or you need to have somebody to bounce it off of and talk to. That's some of the process I know that we've talked about with you and your sister is get good counsel. Sometimes you got to take those thoughts and before you make that decision and see what someone else may think about it, that you may be missing something that you didn't reflect or write down, that they can glean and give you some more um, uh, perspective on it. So that's good. I like that. I like that process that you have. Um, for me, my process in making a decision, um, I definitely weigh it out, the pros and cons. So I like to go, okay, if I do this, what is it going to be good or is it going to be bad? And then I look at that list of the good and bad of making that decision. And then I do get counsel. Sometimes making large, huge decision about something. I don't want to make a big decision by myself. And I can give an example of that. Um, a huge decision I had to make when I was going through breast cancer was the surgery, which surgery I was going to do. And I had two options whether I was going to do. Actually, I had a couple of options. My doctor was able to sit down and give us all the options, but your dad and I, we talked through it, and I got peace of mind as to what my decision was going to be. And I went with the full bilateral mastectomy because it was just in the long run, because that's another thing I think about too. When I make this decision, how is it going to affect me long term? Yeah. So son, another thing I was thinking about decision making is just what's a good definition of decision? What would you consider a good definition for someone to think about for making a decision?
I'll think um, something to think about is that I think that helps to take the pressure off of a decision is that there's no like bad or great like best decision. It's more like appropriate and non-appropriate,
Mm,
because when you make a decision, you know, in that time you may thought it was best for you. And sometimes those decisions that can get you through like moments that you may be feeling low or like maybe feeling good. And
mm.
so I think it's just to know and understanding yourself that regardless of the decision you make, you're gonna learn something in the end. And you just gotta trust in your gut that like you're doing your best and that like I like to think that it's like as long as I'm like connected with God and like my inner self and know that my intentions, then
Mhm.
that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Wow, I like that last part you just said about intentions, because decisions are intentional, you
Mhm.
know. Um, and I like that you mentioned about inappropriate or not appropriate decision making, and all that wraps up in defining decisions. You got to see if it's good or bad. You need to make it count when you make that decision.
Mhm.
Um, But sometimes you don't make the decision. You don't have to make a decision right away. That's what I like to add to the definition. It doesn't have to be right away. Some decisions, you need to let it wait, pray, think about it, process it, because as you mentioned about consequences,
Yeah.
yeah, when you make that decision, it can either be a good consequence or a bad consequence.
Yeah.
And we're always telling you that you will have a good one or a bad one, because it doesn't matter. And it reminds me of one of your portraits. You know, I told you I was gonna probably bring it up. I love bringing up your art when you drew. Matter of fact, I have it sitting right behind me. When you drew this one right here,
Yeah.
consequential choices. That's the name of it. Where you have the butterfly at the top and the worm at the bottom, and this person has the scissors. So you're going to either make a good decision that's going to help you fly and move to the next level, or you're going to make a poor decision, a bad decision that's going to drag you down in the ground. And it's sometimes hard to dig out of it. You can, but it just becomes difficult. It be more like you're in quicksand. Okay. And so making decisions sometimes definitely requires time.
Mm.
Okay. And
Uh,
as we continue to talk, I think this definition, it's not a one way, it's a multi-level in decision making.
mm.
So I want to ask you about something, son. Can you tell me about a time when you did make a good decision, you felt good about it, and kind of what's the outcome?
A decision I think I made that I feel like it was a good decision was really figuring out ways to better my mind and my soul. Like
Mm,
that's just a long term good decision. You know, at some points when I was in like high school, I felt kind of low, and I just wanted to at some points build myself up. And I remember I just looked up on YouTube or like looked searched some things up like far as like affirmations, meditation, stretching, just different things to let my energy out that I'm feeling. And I just knew like learning from others, like some things that the way they may deal with things, it didn't turn out good. So, and I know that life gonna hit. Like I know that like more things are gonna come along the road. So I wanted to just try my best to like better myself. And in the long run, I ended up doing like Motivation Monday, Talk About It Tuesdays to want to help others get
mhm,
out of their mind at times, or like to know that it's more than just the situations you in, and it doesn't define
mhm,
you. It doesn't like means it's the end of the world, you know,
mhm.
even though it may feel like it, you know. And so I feel like that decision I made, like I didn't have to. I could have just, went into a spiral or like just didn't pay attention to it. But now that I did that, and like even to this day, like I still like try my best to like read or like stretch, meditate, do different things, and I encourage people to do it too. But like I know can't force nobody, but yeah, that's a choice that I think that was pretty good in the long run.
Yeah, I remember when you made that choice too. It happened, and it was interesting. It was right before the pandemic, but pretty much it was birthed through the pandemic when having to be home and not going to school and different things like that. And I remember you started saying, "I want to post some videos, Mom. I want to encourage other people." And I didn't know what you were going through, but as I watched you develop, I was like, wow, that was a great decision for you to turn yourself around. You did some self guidedness. You decided, and no one had to force you. I know you had heard those things from me and things that I told you I've done before in my life, and about using affirmation meditations and all that. But what I really admire about you, you went after it for yourself, and that was great. Kudos to you, son, for doing that. And I saw you get books, and so when I saw you getting the books, I got you more books, and the those self help books and
Mhm.
encouraging books. And exercising. Oh my, you were exercising quite a bit. I like every day, like clockwork. I knew nine
That's
o'clock, Henry on the floor in the kitchen,
that's
getting
something
it in.
that's something that's like instilled in me,
Yeah.
Yes.
So isn't that something how when you start to, when you make a decision, some decisions become great habits.
Mhm.
And so, because you did that every day, it's now a habit for you that you have, and now you focus more on your health, what you eat, and things like that. Out there in college, cooking and nutritious meals. So look at all that reward that came from your decision to change your mindset and to be more positive and do more for yourself. And then you turn around and start um, planting it forward with your motivational Monday, talk about it Tuesdays, posting your dance videos just to even get people excited about dancing. You were posting a little bit about playing the guitar. You just was doing everything,
Yeah.
but just just knowing that you went through that process of changing your mindset and that it's still with you today, and it's 2 years now. Kudos for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I actually just been just doing some more focusing on myself, because like as much as I know I like helping people, at the end of the day I have to help myself. And a lot of times the things that I was dealing with and I do deal with is just identity and like just finding out
Mm,
who I am and what I want to do. And yeah.
yeah. Wow. And then we just hear a wonderful speech on identity. I love that we you
Yeah,
just
I
that
really
was so
yeah,
powerful.
I feel
Yeah,
like
that needs to go on your motivational Monday. That was awesome, awesome.
I honestly
Well,
I felt it.
I want to share a great decision that I had that really changed my path of my career.
Mm,
I got my bachelor's degree, as you mentioned, um, in 1992.
mm,
And I thought I was going to move on and get my master's degree right afterwards, but it didn't work out that way. So it took me 15 years later. Oh my God. I was so afraid. I was like, I wanted my degree. I finally figured out what I wanted a degree in, and I wanted to do more in counseling and working with people. And it took me actually a couple of months, before I made that decision. I was trembling and had fear, but with support of my family, because you were around, Amanda, my husband, my mom, talking to everybody. I'm thinking about going back to school and got all that. Yeah, that'd be good. I think, yeah. And then just again looking at myself, why did I want to go back to school? And it wasn't for anybody else, it was for me. I wanted to expand my educational perspective, my credentials, so that I can go and do more for the kingdom of God. And when I entered into that, it was like the best thing that ever happened in my life. I love that I went back to school,
mm.
got my master's degree, and now I'm working on my PhD. I can't believe I'm gonna be a PhD credential in the next couple of years. Wow. So I just been, plowing through it, even with fear. That's another thing about decisions.
Mm,
It comes with some fears. You're gonna face it. You're gonna feel it. But with support, you can make it through.
yeah.
That's truly what I believe. With any fear about anything, when we have the support, because I know that also, just to bring it up, and I hope not to make it any emotional. I remember how fearful you was to hear your mommy had cancer,
Uh,
right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there was. But we rallied around you, gave you a lot of support, and you made it through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That was hard time. Yeah. Yeah.
but I was determined. That was some decision I was making. I was not going to let my family just sit and feel stressed by that. And
Mm.
so I said, okay, counseling, we all go. That was a decision.
I remember that.
I took the whole family. Remember, we all
Yeah.
went to the counselor center for group therapy. Because I just did not want us to not be knowledgeable about what I was going through. Okay. And you got to get knowledge. And that's another thing decisions will help you with. You're going to get some knowledge. And if it's good decision, it's going to be good knowledge. And if it's a not so good decision, it's going to be some not so good knowledge. Because that's the other part. I asked you about, can you give me an experience of a good decision? What about a time when you didn't make a good decision? And you don't have to share if you don't want to. I know this is national worldwide, but just when you didn't make a good decision, can you talk about that experience?
Um, Time I think I probably didn't make a good decision was um I think kind of blank right now. Um,
Okay.
but time, uh, yeah, I'm kind of blank right now. I'm sorry.
Well, here's the thing. This is where fear kicks in too. When
Yeah,
we're trying to express to other people when we did make a good decision. And
yeah,
this is where we also feel guilt,
yeah,
shame, and it's hard to just admit, oh my God, I was wrong, or ooh, that was not a good decision. Um, and it's okay. It's okay. You know,
mm,
it's okay you feel that way. Um, when you reflect it, because we know we've not all made great decisions. Every decision we made has not been great. We've made some.
I think I can think of it.
Okay, you want to share? Go ahead and share it.
Just at a young age, uh, trying to get into relationships and not really focusing on myself and more focus on just doing what everybody else is doing. Like far as maybe like some sports, like I didn't really like football like that, but like everybody else was doing it, and how that ended up, I got hurt and broke both my ankles, and after the second one, I was like, yeah, nah, I think I'm good. But
Right.
that's what I think. That's one of them. I think.
Yeah. And you just said something very powerful. Because sometimes people make decisions based on what somebody else is doing and not really considering is that really for them.
Mm,
We used to hear it back in the day called following the Joneses or something like you trying to do something way out of your scope of who you are and the resources you have available to you. You need to just make decisions for yourself. I've seen many young individuals make decisions about a lot of things that's not good for them. It can be even like staying up all night and you haven't even done your homework, and then now
mm,
you got a low grade, and oh my God,
yeah.
now what am I going to do? I didn't pass this class because I didn't turn in my work. Well, okay, what happened? You made some choices to
Yeah.
party or stay up or just not do it or whatever. So you got to be careful about, wanting to follow the crowd,
Yeah.
and you got some other decisions to make that's going to impact your getting out of school. Because then you get to that last part, woo, and you got to really study hard and cram and all that. It becomes hard. Again, remember what I mentioned. You got to dig yourself out of that hole that you put yourself in because of those decisions you made.
Mm,
Um, and so sometimes, yeah, following the crowd can be harmful to you. Um, as I reflect, there's been some things I haven't made good decisions on. Um, and they do, it hurts. It affects you emotionally. Sometimes it affects you psychologically and, how you see things later on in life.
Mm.
Um, I think the biggest thing that for me that has not been a good decision making is my eating habit. It's not been good at all. Been overweight far too long, and it's all been about a eating habit. Not eating the right things, putting the right things in my body, or not eating enough of the good things, and then doing some other things. I've tried, and I just don't know, how to just I keep getting into that cycle. That's another thing about decisions. Sometimes you keep making the same cycle decision. If you don't break that decision and make a change,
Mm.
that's at the end of it. And when making decision is where's the change? Because it's going to be some kind of change when you make really good decisions that are thought through, and then you act on them. Okay.
Yeah.
Because our decisions can sit in our brains and our mind, but if we don't act on them, we won't go anywhere. We won't do anything.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that one's going to be a little sticky, a little
Yeah,
tough.
sometimes like I can honestly like now I can think more of a decision probably wasn't the best. Like one that you mentioned was like procrastinating. Like a lot of my like projects or like uh my my educational like homework that I had to get done, and I know that I had to like the deadline coming up, but like sometimes I just get to it later, and then it's just I'm working on it like it's due at like 12 o'clock, and I'm working on it like 10:30. And it's been a couple times where I hit you up, and I'm like, Mama, I need like help on this, and like
Mm,
you know, and things like that. I feel like I did like create that habit at a young age, you
mhm,
know, because I just didn't think like I was like mentally smart enough, you know. At some point, I
mm,
feel like that. Um, Still kind of to this day, but like I didn't try not to let it define me, but
yeah,
I just know I didn't connect too well with it. But when it comes to like my gifts and talents, art, and like just building myself spiritually and mentally, I'm pretty stable at that, and everything is different for different people.
yeah,
And so yeah, and I think certain things like that, like habits like that, it start to come like subconsciously instead of like conscious choices. Like you know,
yeah. Son, I definitely appreciate your transparency in saying that you was kind of making these procrastination decisions because you didn't think you were smart enough.
mm,
And and I'm sorry you ever felt that way,
mm,
um, because you definitely are smart. You're smart.
appreciate it.
You're smart. And though we didn't have those decisions then, we're having it now, and I'm grateful that it's up and out. As your dad would always say, when it come up, let it out. And
Yeah,
so now that you got that out, guess what? You can change that thought. You can change that mindset.
yeah,
You can change that decision because that's a decision within you that you decided you're not good enough.
yeah,
And that's where, for some people, we're stuck because already inside of us, we're either saying we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not pretty enough, and it's all of that that's in there that's directing our outward decisions.
yeah,
And it's taking us through spirals that is like, wow, how did I get here? Well, it started with what did you think of yourself?
yeah,
That's a cute. That's a huge, huge acknowledgement. Is what you think of yourself.
Yeah.
And I hope from this day forward, you're smart. Doesn't matter. And I love that you said it doesn't define you.
Yeah.
You
That's
got
how
to
I
continue
try.
to remember that.
I try
It
to say that.
doesn't define you. Because we were just talking about a class the other day
Yeah.
that you didn't do so well. And guess what? It doesn't define you.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, what else do we need to do? Now we got to make some decisions when you take this class again. It's
Mhm.
going to be different than when you did it this time. But now you have to be honest. What's the help that you need? What's the support that you need to make it through this class the next time?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't define you at all.
Yeah.
Because I can even admit I've failed several classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got the help that I needed the next time so that I can pass it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Again, thanks for sharing that.
No problem. Is there like some moments where you feel like you was getting to a point where you felt like different things was kind of like persuading you to defining yourself in that way, but you had to think it through? Like, is there any moments you had like that?
Oh, absolutely. Um, Probably almost, especially since this last degree and this PhD, each class.
Yeah.
Um, because and not to, because this is another thing on decisions, you got to be careful not to make excuses. Um, Health challenges have been in my way quite a bit throughout my educational pursuit. And so I always seem to be behind. And then I was thinking, the reason I can say that because I felt the same way. It's like, oh, I'm not smart enough to make it through this. I can't write like everybody else. I can't process like everybody else. And
Mm.
then I go ahead and I move. I keep moving. That's another thing. I just keep moving. And by the end of it, I was like, oh, but I can. Because then I got an A. Wow. Okay, I can do this. But it's that initial, that back and forth talking with yourself in that negative self-talk that I have to break through and get over. Sometimes I've had to talk to your father about it to help me, and he supports me and say, "No, you this, you this, you that," and affirms that. Or I definitely, have to go back and look at some of my other works, and I was like, "Okay, you can do this, Denise." And then I have to coach myself. Okay, you can do it, and um, here's just a tip. I don't know if anybody likes doing this. I use music to help me concentrate. And it has to be a certain tempo of music because I am a dancer. I love tempo. And so it's that dancing that's going on in my head. For some reason, it helps me to focus and I can get through some things and I produce. I do better. So I have to find out what works for me to to go ahead and keep moving forward, to break that cycle so that I can make my grades and graduate. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely have gone through those journeys. Are there any other questions you like to raise during our conversation before we end?
Um, is there like any like gut decisions that you made that you feel like it turned out the best for you?
The biggest gut decision that I made was having my children.
Oh man.
And I had to I was told by a doctor that it was time to start my family, and at first I wasn't ready, and then I was like, the more I thought about it, I felt good, inside.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's do this. Let's, I want a family.
Yeah.
So making that decision, putting that in motion, it was the best decision because I love being a mother. I love being you guys' mom, and I love my grandkids. So yeah, that was that was like the best gut feeling I could say I've had, and I've had some others, but I wanted to highlight that one.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had my type of gut decision that I made. I had to just like this is not like the easiest topic to talk about, but like I at a young age got introduced to like pornography and just uh masturbation and stuff like that, like, and something I thought like that I really felt like it crippled me because at some points you can just sexualize a lot of like women and just get caught up in a thought process that's not the best. And so my gut feeling, I just felt like I just needed to like stop it and like just really understand my like sexual energy and like my energy in general. And by doing that, it actually did create me better as a man. And it's a good practice that I always try to tell like my other friends that I know that's guys, and like um because it don't even have to just be with yourself. It can just be with like other females just wanting like sex all the time. Like just not thinking that you can think straight without wanting to have like a woman, and but to practice to like not just do that and work on my work, like by making that gut decision, it really helped because like I was able to get a lot done, and like in the moments I made like my best art, and just really like figure out more things about myself and like just my habits and everything. So yeah, that's what I say. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, so thank you for your bravery to put yourself out there like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, that definitely anybody else that's dealing with that can hear that from a young man like you
Mm-hmm.
and say, okay, I can make that adjustment and get that gut feeling because it sounds like, that gut was telling you this is not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not working for you. It's
Mm-hmm.
getting in the way for you. And so when you got things that are getting in the way, it's not feeling good, it's time to make a different decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud of you for making that decision
Thank you.
and for sharing that today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we've had, I think, just a wonderful date night talk.
Yeah, it was good.
And
And this is exactly how it goes.
I know.
Anybody
Yeah,
for
it's
anybody for
happened.
anybody like thinking that no, it's exactly like I remember being at the table. Like I learned to open up more, but at first I didn't want to talk. Like
Yeah. It felt like you was being investigated, huh?
yeah,
But it turned out it was just to make you more aware of who you are as a young man, and how we talked about how to treat young women, making those decisions about that. And so I've enjoyed every date that we've had, each birthday and more. And so I look forward to us getting on an official date when you come home this month.
yeah,
I can't wait to see you in another couple of weeks.
Can't wait to
And
see.
again, to Coach Smith, we want to thank you. Thank you for inviting us to be your guest. It has been a delight. And also to you, Anita Cummins, for hosting, and for my husband for praying. Tonight has just been fantastic. So we hope that you've learned something from the Dinkins family.
What a dynamic duo. Thank y'all so much for allowing us to travel with you guys on your date night.
Thank
It
you.
was
Thank
Thank
you.
you, bro.
absolutely wonderful. Henry, how old are you?
20.
You're 20. And Denise, this is what he said. He said you were supporting him when he was little. And I'm thinking, baby, you still little. You're still little, and your mama will continue to support you.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
I've heard this. So just so you will know, Henry, it says sons may turn into man and grow out of their toys, but in the hearts of their mothers, they still are our little boys. So
Yeah.
it was just so funny when you said, when I was little, she used to. Your mama will always be your biggest fan and your biggest cheerleader. Y'all shared so much good stuff. Um, Henry, your gift is a blessing. That art piece that your mom shared was absolutely just so beautiful. I could feel your spirit. I know that you're extremely humble and talented in so many ways beyond your art. You mentioned track, you mentioned sport, you mentioned basketball. Some of the highlights that I like that was mentioned between the two of you, you like to write things down so you can be held accountable. You weigh the consequences. You talked about the pros and the con. And with everything, Henry, you mentioned God. You made sure that you mentioned God. And Miss Denise, I like the part where you said that sometimes we have to wait, we have to process it. And you connected that to when you got your degree and then you had to wait that 15 years. Well, those 15 years of wait, you really were not waiting. It was preparing you. So when
Hmm.
that time was right, you moved on. And I
Hmm.
also want to send a shout out to you for being a cancer survivor. I'm a cancer survivor, so I feel that with you, my sister. So congratulations to you for that. And if you can tell, you can call it healthy, you can call it juicy, you can call it thick, honey. But let's wear our thickness well. But let's just make sure that we are healthy with that. Um, Motivational Mondays. Oh my goodness, talk about it Tuesday. I
Hmm.
feel like I just need a one-on-one call, Henry. So we can have some motivation Mondays and some talk about it Tuesday. Or better yet, we might can double date Denise. You and
Hmm. That sounds great. We
and
need
I,
to make it a date.
let's make that happen because I
Yeah.
would love for Ty to meet Henry. They have
Hmm.
so many things in common. So
Yeah.
let's make sure we make that happen. We will share our information. You shared something else that was very important about making decisions. Your decisions can either move you forward or some decisions that you have, it can feel as if you're in the quicksand.
Hmm.
And once you get in that quicksand, it's too hard or harder to dig your way out.
Yeah.
Something else that you mentioned that I want to just bring up. You mentioned therapy, and when you were going through your treatments, the entire family went to therapy. I don't know about you sometimes, but Miss Denise, I don't feel like we take therapy serious as a race. And if we need professional guidance, help, support, then we need to seek professional guidance, help, and support. And it doesn't mean that we are a little cray cray. It
Mm-mm.
just means that we need that additional guidance and support. So I am so glad that you plug that in. Wonderful, wonderful conversation. Wonderful conversation. Henry, you stated I'm pretty stable at building myself up spiritually and mentally. To be 20 and to say that and to realize that you're going to make it, you're going to be okay. You are smart. You are
Mhm.
intelligent. You can do whatever you want to do and you can go wherever you want to go. You will be successful. We're
Amen.
speaking that into existence. So
Thank
you go beyond the stars, go beyond the moon, whatever is the furthest out there, that's where you go.
Yeah.
Because
you.
not the sky's the limit. Only you can hold yourself back. And I can tell by meeting your father through prayer and Miss Denise right now that you have a firm, strong foundation. And I wish you the very, very best. Thank y'all so much again for
Thank you.
allowing us to come into your date night. I'm sure the audience enjoyed everything that we had to say. I'm glad you mentioned Courtney Bell again because he stated that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And we know that that's in the Bible. And he told us to start building your identity. For those of us who are listening, and if you have not started building your identity, we challenge you to go forth and to build your identity. Our host, Deborah, she always state that it is better to train early rather than to fix later. And for those of you who do not have this wonderful book of Build Your Best Life, challenging you. You need to get it, you need to read it, you need to mark it up, and you need to share it with others because we only have one life and we need to make sure that this is the best life that we can live each and every day. So, Henry, I can tell in your mom's heart and in her voice, she is so ready for you to come home. She is so ready for her baby to come home.
Mhm.
We will plan a date night so we can keep this going. It was a pleasure meeting you. And again, thank you so much for letting us share this time with you.
Thank
Thank you, Deborah,
you.
for having us. And thank you, audience, for joining us. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers who are with us and to all of our boys and all of our sons who are growing
Mhm.
up to be men. Your mama loves you so,
Yes.
so very much. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening and a great night. And please join Build Your Best Life tomorrow night, where we will have another mother son team to give us some tips on deep conversation. Keep doing good. Keep doing well, Henry. A
Thank
pleasure
you.
meeting
Right.
you, Denise. And I will see y'all later.
All
Have a
right.
good night,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night.